to have those moments of real human drama and understanding is like it sneaks up on you in the best way possible.
Who are you?
I hate to overstep. It seems like you guys have some marital issues.
Congratulations on this movie. I loved it. I had a blast with it. I watched it with my partner, and we got so much out of it. I felt like we were going through therapy as we were watching the movie, and it was in the best way possible. But one thing I really like about this movie is you never lose sight of Dan and Lisa's relationship. Even as things get crazy and mayhem ensues, the relationship stays intact. Can you talk about keeping the relationship moving forward as things are escalating around the couple?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, again, I'm glad you say that because, like, I've been saying, it was so nice to like have real acting scenes in this movie, and like obviously having two wildly professional actors such as Jason and Samara, and like and seeing their dynamic and making sure that like even within the scenes when there's like the most tension, that you still are getting the tiny bits of like that you can imagine, hopefully that they at one point could have been a good couple. You know what I mean? Like that, the way they fuck with each other or whatever, that you could also use those powers for good sort of thing. But it's always interesting in any movie where you can kind of track the relationship over the course of like 5 or 6 scenes in terms of like the really big like emotional arcs of like how that goes. And so like like I've been saying that like that you have two characters that have made like the mortal sin of wanting to kill each other, right? And so like to go from that of them being fairly like despicable characters into like then getting like their different perspectives and because you've kind of been in Dan's perspective and like what like being more on his side, and then you get her perspective, and so as you're making your way through the first act and the second, and then once they both make like the real error to like get real violent, so then now they're in the same boat, then you're getting them to like eventually like their lowest point together and then building them back up. I mean, it's very much by design of like how and honestly the whole thing is framed in like the opening image of like the silhouette of the two of them and then ending with that same silhouette. Yes. So it really is like the fun of building that, and it's the fun of any feature honestly is that the things that you seed early hopefully pay off and hopefully give you some sense of catharsis in the end, even with characters that are truly despicable.
Well, look, I'm going to ask you a bit of a spoiler question. I won't release this part until the film comes out because I want people to enjoy it for themselves. But yes. I think this film is really about what's the worst thing that can happen to a couple and can they come out on the other side together? Because the ending really stuck with me, right? Because you've got Dan's dad stepping in to save the day. You got Lisa literally pulling Dan up as keeping his head above water. I mean, when you look at something like that, when you look at that ending, what does that say about where you wanted this couple to be by the end of the movie, by the end of the time the audience leaves this movie?
That's one of the things I absolutely loved about the original film. You know, this is Tommy's film called The Trip, or originally it was called In Bad Days. And I love that image, which is in the original film, of like, you're beat to shit, you're broken down to your lowest element, you build yourself back up, you decide whether you want to do this, which is a daily decision if you're going to be in a relationship. Like, as anyone who's been in a relationship knows, it's fucking work. And to have them you're in the same boat floating alone in an ocean of like troubles and are you gonna sink or swim sort of thing. And I love that metaphor. I mean, it's a fun, big, crazy movie that goes all these places, but it does at its heart have that at its core. And yeah. I think that like that's what makes it so kind of arresting, especially when it is funny and it is horrifying and it is like gory, and then to have those moments of real human drama and understanding is like it sneaks up on you in the best way possible. So yeah, like very much by design.
And I got to ask you, because MacGruber has such a giant cult following, and over the years there's been talks about more. Where does MacGruber 2 stand for you right now?
I mean, I wrote a version of MacGruber 2 that eventually, like what we pitched to Netflix. And I pitched it straight to Ted Sarandos. Sarandos? Is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted. Pitched it to Ted. It was a fucking I thought a great pitch. And I saw him at the Independent Spirits Awards afterwards, and they had passed on it. And I was like, "You motherfucker!" I was like, this is a fucking good pitch, though, wasn't it? But we did make it into a TV show that you can see on Peacock. It has Sam Elliott, Lawrence Fishburne in it. Lawrence Fishburne is killing it. Sam is incredible. But I did write a sequel that was kind of like the plot of the movie Speed. You know, like where it's like you must make your way from point A to point B at this time. But MacGruber's just ignoring that entire plot. Where he's just like, no can do. I'm not gonna. Everyone's like, the bomb's gonna go off. But yeah, like I honestly, I would sooner maybe turn it into a Broadway musical. I think that would be really great. Like really dramatic songs about like the pain of wanting to rip people's throats out.
I love it. Well, listen, this film is fantastic. I'll tell you what, I hope everyone sees this movie. Keith Jardine surprised the hell out of me. It's absolutely phenomenal. I could talk about this movie all day. I loved it, man. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I hope people go see it April 24th.
Me too, man. Honestly, I tell you, it's the best. If you ever have anybody that's in a relationship, I feel like there's bits of this you will be able to identify with, man. Thank you so much.
For sure, man. Thank you.